Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Glitched, a show about VR in VR where we get together and we try to figure out where it's all going. I'm your host, Eugene Capon with.
I'm Topher Welsh. How's it going, everyone?
And today we have two amazing guests. One returning, Eric Newman, who is a VR specialist in identity, among other things. And then we have
someone
Jason
who
Halverson
cannot figure out how to walk. There he is.
Hey.
It is a little tricky.
There's Tony himself.
I'm here, bro. What's going on?
I love it. So, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, Jason, why don't you tell the audience who you are, what you do, and what makes you so awesome that we decided we wanted you on the show?
Well, as you can tell from my outfit, I tend to portray a character that everybody knows as Tony Stark. Actually, what I am is I'm one of the founders and directors of a group called Costume Characters for Causes. And we started about, I guess we're at about 6 or 8 years now. And basically what we do is we dress up as everybody's favorite pop culture characters, typically superheroes. And we try and raise money, actually, as we phrase it, awareness, funding, and joy for local pediatric charities.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that sounds sweet.
So, how many guys do you guys have in your whole superhero crew? How many are you strong?
All told, we've got.
They call it a team.
This is true.
Yeah, our superhero team. We actually call our volunteers our volunteeros.
Oh,
I like it. I love the play on words.
That's a lot of fun, huh? Yeah, we've got about 4 or 5 regular staff members that help us do things like maintain the website, answer emails, and help schedule events. But we've got somewhere in the rounds of about 60 volunteeros that help us out at different events at different times.
How does one become a volunteero?
Well, usually we want to meet you, maybe work with you, spend a little bit of time at one of the events. That helps quite a bit. But then we have a form we'd ask that people fill out on our website, which basically says a few things about you, who you are, what you do, and we just want to make sure that you're not a convicted felon. It's one of the major things.
Are there any?
What if you are a convicted felon and you just want to give tons of hugs, but you're a good guy? You're a good convicted felon. Maybe you stole a car. You didn't stab someone.
Well,
Could you still be a volunteero?
We wish you luck, but we probably won't want you around children.
This is a good point. This is a good point.
My question is: are there any villain tiers? Like, does anybody want to be a volunteer bad guy? Do any kids ever say like, "Oh, I want Lex Luthor to come visit me"?
Are there any furries in the group?
You know, it's funny. Both of those questions you ask. Yes, we do get plenty of villains, and as our name indicates, costumed characters. So we've got everything from Disney princesses to we've got a furry specialist. She does some pretty amazing work. You can find her online under Two Faced Creations. And she does some really amazing costumes. You know, that's part of the market, but that's not all she does. She's doing a lot of great work, a lot of amazing costume work.
I'm sure you get a lot of requests for like Darth Vader, and I bet Thanos is going to be huge now.
I think you have a Thanos local, a pretty badass Thanos actually.
There's a guy that's in the area named Jerry.
Jerry?
Yeah, he is absolutely amazing.
Stuff is fantastic. If anyone follows like the whole cosplay scene in Seattle or anywhere, Jerry's the dude that makes the massive prosthetic masks, and they look like 1-to-1 on most of the characters that he does. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. He does those hyper realistic masks. Yeah,
and his Thanos one is holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, now here's the funny thing: is that at Emerald City Comic Con this year, of course, I had finally had my full suit put together, at least 90% of it. And he was going around as Thanos carrying a Tony Stark severed head.
Oh, jeez.
And so we tried several times to meet up so we could do some photo shoots during the convention, but because my primary concern at the convention is usually the booth, and then we do some rovers and kind of wander around and get photo ops. We kept missing each other, but at the premiere event for Infinity Wars, We worked with one of our like co-groups. It's also they help us out. We help them out, the Seattle Avengers. And they had they were working the premiere at the Cinerama in Seattle.
Nice.
And so I don't know if you guys saw any of those photos, but
I did see those photos. It was pretty epic. The whole front row was really all amazing. You guys, that was great, man.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I had so much fun. And Charles and Rain that organized that really did just an astoundingly phenomenal job in getting that organized and run. And we had a lot of fun, and I got to meet Jerry finally and do some photos, and it was a blast. It was a blast.
So I gotta ask, what prompted you to start the group? Like, what was the catalyst for going, hey, I want to put together this superhero cosplay charity, and go out and do social good for the world?
Yeah, it's funny. It really wasn't me that got it started. It was Kristen. Kristen Jensen was one of our original founders, and I was a coworker with her at the time, and she talked me into going to the convention as Wolverine.
Okay.
And so she went as Dark Phoenix, I went as Wolverine, and she goes, "Let's go be attention whores and have some fun."
As you do. As you do.
Yes. Yeah. And it was it was my first. I'd never been to a comic book convention before, so the first time I went was in costume, and it was such an experience. And before we even got there, Kristen had actually met people through Facebook that were doing this. It was a group of girls that were raising money for, I believe at the time it was Seattle Children's Hospital, and one of them was a nurse over there, and they kind of just introduced us to it. And through those girls, we met some other people, and a guy named Quentin Shaw, who has it's like a publishing company, QEW Publishing. He really gave us a nudge. He even got us our first table. He made a banner for us, and kind of encouraged us to go through the legal process, become an official nonprofit business. And Kristen was very passionate about this. And honestly, I was a little ambivalent at the beginning. I was like, "Oh, I'll be here and I'll do it." The more that we did it, I really think it was the first time I saw a kid just really light up. It really kind of cemented that for me. I've got a history working with kids. I used to manage Chuck E. Cheese's,
Nice.
done all kinds of fun stuff, and that was a big catalyst, I think, for me to kind of keep going. And then as we progressed, we went from basically putting out it was like a cheese poofs bucket, like get the cheese puffs from Costco. Yeah. And we put that out in front of us, and we just stand there in a group and yell at people as they go by. We had a barker, and he would yell at people, "We're costume characters for causes, and we're raising money for this group." And we sort of refined the process over time to getting a photo booth set up, kind of modeling it after the 501st Legion.
Nice.
So do you guys want to know a fun fact that I just realized it? I met you guys on the same day.
Oh my God, you're right. I met you two on the same day.
You met both of us?
Yeah. Dude, so me and Eugene's story of us getting us actually meeting is I hit him up to go to the Jet City Comic Con because I knew he was going to be there to film these cosplay videos. I was like, "Yo, I'm going to be Casey Jones." And it was the same day that I met him that I met you, and you were rocking a Thor top with a kilt.
Oh, that was
the Iron Man hand with
that was Halloween. Yeah,
was that Halloween?
I did. It was Halloween because that was part of the joke. I had like a half-done costume, and so I said I was Iron Thor was what I was called.
I don't know if you ever saw. I made a video of my Casey Jones cosplay running around the con. You're like, "Who's worthy now, bitches?"
Exactly. It was a lot of fun.
That was awesome.
I'm actually evolving that mashup, and I'm going to have some more fun with it in time. So stay tuned.
Nice. Nice. Hey, just for safety's sake, you should move up just a little bit because our threshold for the audio is like right here. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, you were teetering.
You're teetering. If you just lean back a little bit, do a little Fat Joe, you would have been muted.
I don't want that to happen.
Or some Michael Jackson.
Annie, you okay? You okay,
yeah,
Annie?
I don't have a lot of moves in this gear right now.
It doesn't.
I really need to get my vibe trackers working, and I can really do some sweet dance moves.
I don't know. I think there are a ton of awesome dance moves.
So, are you like the face of comic book characters for causes?
What
or
was that?
costume characters for causes? Because it seems like being Tony Stark that you just kind of evolved into like the man.
Kind of. I hate to say that I am definitely, but we've had a lot of great cosplayers in the group. And it's funny, Quentin actually shared a picture recently on his publication page. And it was funny for me to look at that because I'm the only person in that picture that's still with the group.
Really?
People move on, people move, people go on to other things, other people drop out of cosplay or the convention scene. Yeah, and as Tony Stark, it's easy to be personable.
Yeah.
And it's a fun character because I'm a ham and chatty to begin with and kind of a wise ass. So
well, I mean, you embody Tony pretty damn well.
And I'm pretty interested in joining up. I feel like I've definitely got a good supervillain persona look. Could very easily do
Lex Newman.
Pretty much any bald bad guy, I could just rock.
I'm thinking
you could be the Vulcan. You could be Brainiac. You could be Lex Luthor. You could be Professor X.
I do love me some Patrick Stewart, so Professor X would
Patrick Stewart.
All we're gonna do is get you a wheelchair, and you're good to go.
Wait, what was the name of that guy in Thor Ragnarok?
Which one?
Oh, the one that
Carl Urban
plays.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go. Armor, and Des and Troy.
That movie was so good. I actually just watched that like 2 days ago.
So Jason was actually a special guest at my very first charity show I ever did.
Was that the Geek Out event?
Yeah, that was the Geek Out
event.
Yeah.
My wife danced in that event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my wife
I think
was
I remember her.
She did the link. She had the link and the Master Sword.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. And then we had the Batman joke. Comedian guy
Batman. I found the Batman joke and I sent it to Eugene like 2 weeks ago. We had this terrible stand-up comedian that was just like
hostile.
It was super hostile. He was telling the girls to like shut up and know their place or something. And then he had this joke about Batman being black that just completely tanked.
And then he screamed at everybody.
Yeah, he just yelled at people, didn't want to give up the mic. So Eugene had to basically go out and be like, "We are so sorry. We didn't realize this guy was such a tool. Please don't hate us."
I didn't say it like that, but that's basically what happened.
And now here's a steel a band playing Bill Nye on steel instruments. What are those called? Not what
steel drums?
Steel drums?
The D20 band?
The D20 band. Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
D20
yeah.
band was there and they were playing Bill Nye. Oh, man. That was a great event, Eugene, man.
Oh, my
I had a lot of fun at that.
Like, you weren't even around for, like, you and I weren't, like, working together as closely as we are now, but you didn't, have I ever told you what happened backstage right after?
No.
Okay, so this, one of the dancers got into, like, a verbal altercation with him, and her boyfriend came, what was there, was pissed off, and then when we did the bit with Chris Cruz, Beat the Geek, he walked up, and then we were like, sorry, we only have 3 spots for this game, and the guy wouldn't leave. So Chris had to, like, basically send him away, like, very, like, sternly, like, you need to get off the stage sort of deal. And anyway,
we needed a hook.
Well, because he was with the dancer, he was backstage and he had something in his hand.
Oh my God, I remember this.
And so I'm back there. Somebody goes, I think he has like a knife or something in his hand. And he was like 6'3" and like 130 pounds. So he was just a skinny dude. And I went, hey, are you having fun? And he goes, yeah, I'm okay. Like very monotone. I'm like, awesome. Give me 5. Because I wanted to see what was in his hand, right? Mm-hmm. And so he put one hand behind his back to like high five my hand, grabbed my hand, pulled it down very like sternly, and then, but he's not stronger than me, so I pulled his hand back up and almost lifted him off the ground. And my first thought was like, okay, I have to be back on that stage in less than 2 minutes. I can deck him, take him out, and go out if I'm fast enough.
That would have been classic.
Did you do that? Is that what happened?
No. Like
I would pay money to see Eugene Capon deck someone and then walk on stage right after like nothing happened. I would pay
blood on his
money
knuckles
for this.
Luckily, so what happened was I was like, okay, I absolutely don't want to like destroy this guy. So I convinced him to just leave. And luckily he did before Chris got done with his bit and went backstage. He walked outside and instantly got into a fight with another guy. And he got his ass kicked.
Well, that happened.
That's what happens when you're a scarecrow.
Oh, as a nutty scarecrow. My God. Like, who just goes out and like picks fights with random people?
But here's like he didn't have any brains.
But here's the really funny thing. Here's the really funny thing. The guy who beat his ass walked in, and then while we were doing the charity giveaway, he started heckling us.
I mean, the kind of person that gets in a fight
just can't win.
Is the kind of person that gets in a fight.
Oh my God!
Public,
it was like a bad sitcom. Like that whole night was like that.
That's awesome, man.
Now, wasn't that at Dante's?
It was, and then ironically burned down.
Burned down,
Dante's burned down?
Burned down like a couple of weeks after that, I think.
What? It was like 3 weeks later. It burned down. They had to close it.
We really blew that place up, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. We brought the roof down, right?
That is not an admission of guilt on any level. Police.
I had nothing to do with that.
The roof is on fire.
Persons mentioned this story may or may not be based on real characters.
Yeah. My repulsors are just lights. There's no heat. There's no nothing.
Yeah, but we did this whole like video that I got to talk with. And so, like, I'd be like, Tony Starr, he's like, I'm on my way. And he came into the office several weeks prior, filmed that dialogue so we could shoot it up. And that way we could put all the UIs, like he was Iron Man flying around.
I remember this now. I do remember this, yes.
And then,
then I came in from the back.
Nice.
Yeah. With a glass of scotch, like, I was in my Iron Man suit the whole time. Drink.
So what other characters do you cosplay as?
I do Odin. I have Deathstroke.
Okay.
I've done Wolverine, but I've kind of retired that. There's a lot of Wolverines out there, and with the exception of perhaps Old Man Logan, which the movie version is kind of different than the comic version, and I kind of did sort of the comic book version. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done anything else. I kind of keep it to those few, and then what happens is the costumes are constantly evolving. So every time you see it, there's more detail, there's more pieces added.
There's more scotch.
There's more scotch. Yeah. The Tony personas.
You said that yours are only just light, but there's actually a dude that made an actual flight suit that works that way.
What?
It only flies for 90 seconds at a time. But the dude strapped 2 rocket engines to each wrist, and he points them down, and he flies.
That's great, but that can't end well.
Now. It's a lot longer now. He can do about 10 minutes.
Really?
You know what we need to do is give him to that guy, that flat earther dude that shot himself 1,800 feet in the air.
In the rocket. Yeah. I need to go 3,000 feet up, make sure I see the curve of that goddamn Earth right there.
It's funny. Like, we've all been sort of promised jetpacks for all of our lives. It's part of the pop culture
since the 1962 World's Fair, man.
But you know what? Drones are the real deal, man. Like, we don't need jetpacks. We just need way higher density batteries, so we can just strap drones to our feet. There's an actual hoverboard where the record is about 15 minutes.
It's kind of like that Green Goblin thing. Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
It was awesome. I saw that and I go, oh, I want one.
My cosplay will be like off the hook.
That's going to be great.
When I actually saw Iron Man for the first time, I was in college, and at the time I was still studying aerospace engineering. I later changed majors, but I was there with all my aerospace buddies, And we immediately left the theater and went back to our dorm and like got on the whiteboard and started mapping out the suit, being like, all right, well, what if you did this? Like, could this be built? No way in hell. That thing could never, ever, ever fly. It's not aerodynamically possible, like in any way, shape, or form. But it's still cool.
There's an old saying. I don't know if you remember the F4 Phantom, the F4 Phantom jet. They used to have a fond saying about that thing that even with a big enough engine, even a brick will fly. So it was really
not true.
Stocky. I know, but it was kind of a joke that the naval aviators and marine flyers used to like to say during Vietnam, because it was just this huge blocky thing.
Right. So tell me about some of the charities that you guys work with.
Well, we started out doing stuff for the Seattle Children's Hospital, and it's been a while since we've been there. We do like to try and get back from time to time to do a visit. It's hard with the costume because you can't really go around room to room and visit. You need to be sanitized. But through those girls that we met that first year and up at Seattle Children's Hospital, we got introduced to a group called the Good Times Project, and that's really kind of our favored charity. We do a lot of work for them and work with them. This last year, with the help of one of our volunteers, Mike, who is a designer and artist over at Funko, he talked to his people there, and they got them to donate their prototype Funko Pops.
Whoa,
and we
that's
auctioned
cool.
Oh, it was amazing. And get this, the first year we did it, I think we had 3 or 4, and we raised about $2,500, which was amazing because that blew out our goal for the year. This last year, Mike managed to talk people into donating. I think we had a total of something like 43 Funko Pops.
Holy moly!
We raised right around $33,000 for the camp this year. Thanks.
Incredible.
It is absolutely amazing, and it's really thanks to the generosity of those artists and stuff over at Funko, and for Mike for organizing that, and really putting that together. Really incredible. Made a huge impact.
They have Funko for like everything now. There's a Funko for Doctor Who and for the TARDIS. There's Funko for like the Herculoids cartoon, which has been off the air since 1960.
WWE.
Yes. They have everything. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't know how they get access to all these different properties.
But if you watch the Making Fun video on Netflix, they talk a little bit about the licensing and stuff that they went through to get those licenses for those properties. And if you're watching close enough, there's a clip in there from last year's Funko Fun Days where we actually had a tent with our banner up on it, and they had us there as sort of guests, and we were interviewing. I was dressed as a Tony Stark. I think it was the Spider-Man Homecoming version. He had a little kitty cat on his shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. But I actually had they sent me the print that they used for that artwork. So I printed that the Funko Pop art of the Funko Pop kitty was on my T-shirt that I wore underneath the blazer. And I did that at that event. So you'll actually see our banner at one point. It just kind of flashes by. Some of our people and the Seattle Avengers people are definitely featured in there. You see them a little bit.
So what is your guys' goal, I guess, this year for charity contributions? Do you guys have a set goal where you guys organize events around those? Or is it just kind of hope for the best? Or
Well, it's really per event. So Emerald City is always our big event. And so we've gotten in to kind of know the people at Reed Pop. They've been really, really awesome in donating table space for us to allow us to do what we do. And so we always try and beat the previous year. It's going to be hard next year. It's going to be really hard next year to break $33,000. But
you did $33,000 just at ECCC?
Yeah, because what we did was those Funko Pops were brought in and then auctioned off during the convention. So on the last day on Sunday, the auction closed, and we had like running tallies and a television set up that kind of monitored everything, and it was really amazing. And the video clip of we always said that if we break $10,000, we wanted to do the big check, right? That was kind of our big thing, right? And so we said we're going to do a big check this year, because we figured, even if every one of those Funko Pops goes for a little bit, it's going to break 10 grand. Yeah. And it was significantly more than that. So we wrote it. It was a dry erase. We wrote it all out. And when I do the presentation, I was so wrapped up in the moment that I actually kind of lost my ability to speak. And so I just kind of bailed off screen at the camera because I was afraid I was going to start like tearing up and my voice was going to start cracking.
Was the big check the actual check, or was it just for show?
It was just for show. Everything.
I actually won a big check once, and it was not just for show. And I legitimately had to take a giant check to the bank, and they cashed it. They were like,
"That's fantastic."
They had to bring in the branch manager, and he looked at it. And he was like, "It's got a real routing number on it. I'm just going to manually punch it in." And they cashed it, and they had to take it from me because they have to take the check when they cash it. So
oh my gosh,
somewhere at a bank in Ohio, there's probably still a giant check sitting in their back room.
That is crazy. So awesome. Did
you're just living in a cartoon. Your whole life is now a cartoon.
It was.
Did you yabba dabba do all the way to the bank on that?
I did have somebody come with me because I was afraid that it was so comical that somebody I was in Cleveland. It was not the greatest town to be walking down the street with a giant check for $1,000. I thought somebody might mug me for my giant check, thinking it was novelty, but it was the actual real.
Was it written out to cash?
No, it was written out to me. But I don't think that Sprint would have reissued me a new one if it had been taken. So yeah, I had a posse rolling with me over to the bank with my giant check.
Yo, boys, let's roll out. Gotta get my money.
I was holding.
Well, we've got kind of a limited budget, so when it came time to do the check, they were actually really expensive to print. So we opted to have one that was dry erase, so we could reuse it. So hopefully we'll be able to do more of those in the future. So yeah, it's not a real one, although we did think it would be funny at some point to fill it out and go into the bank in full costume and try and deposit it just for a gag. But they get kind of bent out of shape if you come in with a face mask on.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
Don't wear.
Yeah, our Batman got kicked out of the Westlake.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Yeah.
He's invisible.
That's really weird.
Here.
Everyone's I don't see anyone, but I can hear everyone. That's so strange. I'm gonna log out and log back in. I'll be right back.
Okay.
It looked like you beamed out of here, Star Trek style.
Yeah, that was really funny. He's just in phase shift. That's all it is.
Yeah, but luckily he doesn't fall through the floor.
Hey Topher, I like your Invisible Girl cosplay.
So I have some questions for you about what you think the future of cosplay is. I'm basically a professional futurist. That's what I do. And one of the things that people are always asking me all the time is about AI. AI is here to steal our jobs. And the way that I think about this is that we as a society, we've lived through a paradigm shift in our industrial capabilities before, when we had the Industrial Revolution, right? And the same thing happened. We invented a new technology that made it possible for machines to do work that previously could only be done by people. And everybody flipped out and was like, oh my God, we're no jobs. Whoa. And then what happened? Well, we actually created several entire new industries.
Right.
Like for example, Hollywood, right? If you went to somebody pre-Industrial Revolution and you told them hundreds of thousands of people are going to make their entire living making pretend things that are going to get captured and watched by people, they would have been like, you're freaking crazy. You're nuts.
Well, I honestly think you couldn't have even explained VR.
Well, yeah.
To those people wouldn't get it. My mom has a hard time.
I'm not even talking about VR. I'm talking about movies. I'm talking about
movies, right?
Movies. Just if you tried to explain Hollywood, the notion of Hollywood industry to somebody in the pre-Industrial Revolution world, they would just be like, nobody would pay for that. But as it happens, because people had more time and more disposable income, they wanted to go and do something to entertain themselves, and movies existed. So boom, we got this new exploding industry. I kind of think that cosplay is one of the industries that is going to come out of the AI revolution, right? That people are everybody's freaking out. What are we going to do? We're not going to have any jobs. But I think that we're already starting to care about totally new other different kinds of industries. I think cosplay could be one of them. I sort of want your take on that.
Well, I'm not sure how cosplay would work with AI specifically.
I don't actually mean with AI. I mean, like,
I gotcha.
When people have more free time, they're going to be looking for new things to do.
You're seeing a lot of this already. I mean, let me give you an example. If you go down to Joann's Fabrics, they actually have a cosplay section now.
I know.
And you got like Yaya Han and all of her product line actually have some of that stuff.
That special plastic too, right?
Yeah, there's different types of heat plastic.
Product line?
Yeah, she's got all kinds of different like textured materials and stuff like that.
What's Jessica Negri got out there?
Yeah,
she has her own Netflix special.
What?
Yeah, see it, and they're doing different things. And like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Anamia. She's a friend that I've met.
Yeah.
She's been doing like talk shows with, I think it's called Otaku. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I mean, she's got I mean, that's her career now. It's what she does, and I think it's really fantastic. But then you get like I've got some friends that do things like they do the props. And I don't know if you're familiar with Core Geek. Eric Jones, he's actually lives up the street from me, and he does just absolutely amazing work. You got I'm just seeing like cosplay models and lots of that, and 3D printing is going to make a lot of this a lot more accessible.
Well, alluding to like his question of like how can cosplay become like an industry? I think what it comes down to is the fact that like when people are given the ability to be more creative and be artistic and make things and explore their passions rather than grinding on their 9 to 5 every single day, I think people are inherently like our society is just going to become more creative. They're going to become more wanting to do these types of things, and it's going to push things like cosplay more into the mainstream. I mean, who would have been dressing up as comic book characters besides it being Halloween 20 years ago? It never happened.
Right. Yeah, the whole idea was mocked.
To make an arch. Oh, did he?
He's over there.
Freeze?
Did I freeze?
Yeah, you're frozen.
Oh my god!
You've been invisible again.
Beamed up again.
Mother
something out, and then exploded.
So let's talk about. There is this huge industry that comes from just like modeling industry for cosplay. How much does costume characters causes try to make sure that a lot of the lewd costumes don't become part of the brand since you're working with children?
So what we got to kind of do is we break our the type of events that we attend into two different categories, what we call public and private. A public event is one like, say, let me give you an example. Last year, Emerald City asked us to go down to Westlake Center and kind of wander around and visit and pass out flyers and such for the convention. Mm-hmm. And we call that that would be a public event. And in an event like that, you want to really stand out as definite costumed characters, right? So like Tony Stark in a suit and tie might just blend into the crowd too much, and the crowd's not going to understand, right? You're really out of our element, so we want to make sure that they see us. You see Spider-Man, they see capes, they see bright colors, Wonder Woman, right? When it comes to the lewdness, like we're doing private events, we consider private events. Now, this is kind of weird. It seems counterintuitive, but private event would be like Emerald City Comic Con, right? And the reason we call it private is because in these events, we want people to know, or at least our volunteers, that whatever their costume is, we're going to be kind of okay with, right? And we're pretty open as far as what people want to do. Generally speaking, we do try and have people maintain a certain decorum because we are relating to kids' charities and pediatric stuff. So we don't want a lot of skin and making people uncomfortable.
So I couldn't be like topless Colossus and just like wear body paint the whole time.
Possible. It depends on how that works and how it looks.
It sounds like to me, it sounds like Casey Jones gets a full ride. That's what it sounds like to me.
Casey Jones is set. But believe it or not, we were at Seattle Children's Hospital, and we had someone who did a classic Wonder Woman, and she looked absolutely fantastic, right? But when we got there, some of the staff was a little disturbed that it was bosomy and lots of legs, and she had to go change, and it was very humiliating, and it was something that we want to try and avoid in the future.
Yeah. That's super lame.
It really was
super, super lame.
It really was, but it's not our call when we're in someone else's venue.
It's true.
Sort of reminds
me their
about,
house.
What happened with Katy Perry on Sesame Street. Do you guys know about this?
Oh, yeah. When she got her big old Elmo jigglies out.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's kind of crappy because, that's some straight up body shaming right there.
Totally.
That's shit. She wasn't, naked. She wasn't being lewd. She just has a large bosom, and they, wouldn't air her clip because of that. I think that's terrible. I think that sends a really bad message.
Now, that gets back into the hyper conservatism that we have as Americans, the Puritanism that we come from in our roots that still kind of pervades everything. So as open as I am to all, I really don't care, honestly. I'm at the Geek Out event, it was a sort of a burlesque event. And some of our staff was a little bit, I don't know if this is really fitting. And I said, well, this particular event is very specific. There will not be children at this event.
Well, we were at a bar, so...
Yeah,
exactly.
Unless there were, two kids underneath a trench coat trying to get in.
Come on, Timmy, have a highball.
You were saying before that you're not sure how cosplay and AI might work, but I think something that's a really obvious pairing is, what we're doing now, cosplay and VR or cosplay and AR. Right, if you look around, you see that most people you're going to run into in VR, they don't dress as themselves.
Right.
We're doing this because it shows off
the robot dude over there.
Yeah,
I see it.
We're dressed like real people because it shows off high fidelity's technology well. But in a normal situation, most people come as Rick from Rick and Morty or a crazy robot or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So what's interesting about what you were just saying about the hospital is imagine if we are living in a pervasive AR future, where when you wake up in the morning, you actually put on something pretty boring physically, but your AR costume, your avatar skin that goes over your body, you can make something exciting. But you could also have that with a sort of an adaptable filter, or maybe to people who have their adult rating set to a certain level, they get to see regular Wonder Woman. But somebody who's set to hyper Christian morality, they get to see just boring gray
Mormon Wonder Woman.
Mormon Wonder Woman. Thank you. Exactly.
Well, the nice thing with Wonder Woman is that now there's so many versions of Wonder Woman, and they're all okay. There's Wonder Woman with pant legs and more conservative dress, and then there's the new movie versions that are fantastic. So
I did really like the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman costume. I thought the movie was just but the costume was wonderful. Yeah. Such a good update.
Yeah,
how dare you? That movie was brave.
I'm
just kidding.
I thought it was pretty good. I do have a gigantic crush on Chris Pine, so he made it definitely watchable for me.
I saved my man crush for Justin Timberlake, but okay. I get you.
I wanted to jump one on Chris Pratt, but only because it was at his birthday when I was 10.
You were at his birthday?
Yeah.
I like how you just slipped that in there. It's yeah, it was at his birthday.
So, from the same neighborhood.
What?
What?
What? You have the same neighborhood? I don't know.
What about
it's actually pronounced Crisp Rat.
Crisp Rat?
Crisp Rat.
Crisp Rat, like a rat that's crisp.
Yeah. A well done rat. Yes.
Yes, exactly. A crisp rat.
I mean, after that last movie, yeah.
Which one, the Jurassic or the Infinity War?
Hey! I haven't seen it yet.
No spoilers.
Some people out
you haven't seen it yet?
Dude, I had this little thing called a baby this past month, so I kind of haven't had any time.
All right, you have the best excuse.
that works.
Also, congratulations on having a baby.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my baby was born on Star Wars Day, which is amazing because I am the biggest Star Wars fan, pretty much ever.
Nice.
So, that was pretty marvelous. He was born on May the 4th.
So did you name him Luke or Anakin or something?
I did slip an Obi-Wan Kenobi reference into his Hebrew name.
Aha.
Yeah.
So right. What's your baby's full name?
Well, his name is Asher Bergen Newman, but his Hebrew name is Nachum Benjamin, and of course Benjamin for Ben Kenobi. So.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
So is this your first?
Yeah, totally.
Welcome to fatherhood, buddy.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'd high five you, but I can't get my arms to work.
We'll just like do a side five.
Touch my chest piece, I guess.
Wait,
I love
kids.
You want
everyone to blow up. Hold on. Put your hand to mine, Topher.
Oh, look at what's happening!
Oh, it's magical.
I don't know if everyone else can see that though. Can everyone see that?
I can see it.
Oh, cool.
Glowing.
That was like an ET moment, guys.
Phone home, Tony.
Ouch.
And this is why we make an arch facing the audience, Topher.
Yep.
There we go.
I love kids. I've got 2 kids. They're both they're almost grown. One's 21, the other one's 14. But like I said, it was kind of a revelation to me. I used to manage Chuck E. Cheese's, and I had a lot of fun with the kids. And it was a little crazy, but it opened up a side of me I didn't know that I had when I had to do the shows. So I don't know if I guess you kind of saw it a little bit.
Explain that. Explain it. You were like one of those robot animals that plays?
No. I was a manager, so I would come out and I would introduce the Chuck E. Cheese in the show. Well, here, let me give you an example. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for a star of stage, screen, and television, Chuck E. Cheese!
Oh my god, I feel like chills. That was so good. Chills, guys.
You would also be really good managing a strip club too.
Well, let's hear it for Crystal.
It's pretty much a strip club for kids, dude. Like, no joke. Convert your money into tokens.
I have a friend who actually was the strip club announcer on Sir Mix-a-Lot's album way back in the day. His name is Craven Moorhead.
Ironically, the Chuck E. Cheese's that I worked at was a strip club before before it became a Chuck E. Cheese's.
Of course, surprising.
Whoa. It just seems like this. It would just come with it.
Straight up.
Yeah. Did you say Moorhead?
Craven Moorhead.
Does he have big like sideshow bob hair?
It's not his real name, Eugene.
No. But does he go by that?
No, this is not him.
Okay.
No. That sounds like a description.
Sounds like a
description of a guy with a giant head.
Ooh,
look at that cranium on that boy.
No. A guy with that name drove his car into the back of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the name Craven Moorhead?
Somebody will do anything.
Really hated him.
Some people will do anything for attention.
Like he wanted my attention, so he drove his car into the back of mine.
You need some more head. I wish we could do that.
Just rip people apart in VR.
I don't know. I kind of sometimes wish that VR was more like Worms Armageddon and like the environment was destructible. I know you don't because you spent so much energy and time making this lovely environment.
I mean, what if we had like a reset button?
Yeah, you just hit it and all the bricks go back into place.
Whoa, check this person out. Oh, that was some serious running animation coming in here.
Oh, I just saw him doing breakdance moves.
No. So he's actually far enough that they turned down the frames for you.
Turn down for what?
So because he's so far away, he looks like that. But if he was right next to us, he would have the same sort of animation that we have.
Yeah, I get it. Animation dithering, for sure.
Gotcha.
It was still cool. I enjoyed it.
I dig it. It's cool.
I like it. So I think we're at the point where we're going to play a game.
Ooh.
Yeah, and hold on while I get this up on my screen.
You look so cool while you're doing this. You just look.
Take a knee, Eugene. Take a knee.
You kind of look like Gru from Despicable Me right now. Like that's that pose.
Okay, so basically what's going to happen is we're going to... Oh, shit.
That's your one.
That was your one.
That was your one.
I think that was the second one.
It probably was.
I
don't think we really actually keep counting
you
this
can
show.
You can have mine. I'm practicing not cursing for kids now.
For a second, I thought I had accidentally kicked the cord for the vibe out of the computer.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw the show with Ella. There was quite a few curse words and choice language being thrown around on that one.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Don't watch it with the kids in the room.
Yeah, don't watch it with your new baby. You don't want to pick up anything bad.
He's not at the language acquisition stage yet, so it's
You don't know. They're getting smarter all the time.
I heard recently that a child's first word was Alexa, because mom and dad's use of the Amazon thing.
I wonder how fast kids are going to start learning phrases now that they can talk to their devices in their homes.
It's going to be like Star Trek. Computer.
I read a spectacular article about a tech journalist who gave a tablet to his 6-year-old son who couldn't read yet, but he could speak to Google Assistant. And he then went back and looked at the log of all the things that his son had asked. And he was like, yeah, of course, there was some stuff where he was asking about duty and butts and things like that. But then it was also stuff like
as we still do.
What is a rainforest? And how does a part of the human body work? And there were thousands of queries. He realized that his son had asked way more times and way more things and much more insightful questions of this tablet than he ever could have possibly imagined. I'll send you the article. It's spectacular.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Really good.
I think that's one of the ways we're seeing technology evolve us a little bit.
Totally.
Further, it's mentally or intellectually. I think sometimes people concerned that we're gonna lose something with all of the technology that's out there, but
I don't really you kind of have to. For you to get more, you have to give something up. I mean, we're human beings; we can only have so much of a flow.
I think we already have
about this with my kids' teachers.
I would like to give up cursive. It is the most useless, most time-consuming, stupidest waste of time of anything that we teach our children in this country.
Well, I'm getting recorded.
As a graphic artist, I'm going to say no.
Why?
Because I use it for work.
I would say a familiarization with the cursive letters so people can read it. Like my kids, they're not familiar with it, so if they see something written in cursive, they can't.
This is the problem. That is exactly so. There's there's three sort of mindsets about this, right? There's the people who are pro-cursive. There's cursive apologists like yourself, no offense, and then there's people like me who are against it. And I think that I think that the cursive apologist argument, it sounds good from the outside until you realize that adults who know how to read cursive can't read each other's cursive.
Exactly.
So it's
the only time it's ever really used anymore is for signatures. So.
Exactly, and you do not need hours per day devoted to child learning to learn how to write your signature nice.
Also, signatures are even more asinine than learning cursive. We live in an age of 256-bit encrypted signature data, right? This wet squiggle of ink on a piece of paper could be replicated any number of ways. It's easier to build a robot that can replicate my signature than it is to do a million other things that people do in their everyday lives today, right? You could just get a Lego Mindstorms kit that does that. So the whole notion of authentication via wet squiggles of ink is just, here's my curse for the day, batshit crazy. It's just bananas. It just does not make any sense.
Well,
end rant.
On that note, we have a game.
Sorry.
Yeah, you guys took it totally in a different direction. We have a game called Superpower Beatdown. And because we have 4 people, we'll form teams. Yes. And the way this works is when you're on a team.
Anti-cursive bros right here.
All right. We'll do this.
Our team's name, have I used my swear word yet?
No.
Our team's name is called Fuck Cursive.
Yep.
Iron Man rules.
I can't say it, so I'm going to say we're fudge
That'll be our
cursive.
team. So the way it works is one of you guys would be up. One of us would come up with a bad guy and a really lame superpower. Now you now have that superpower, and you have to tell us how you would beat supposed bad guy. Okay, so
let me try and repeat this. So you're going to come up with a lame superhero, and we basically have to come up with those
two will come up with the lame superhero and the given power, and you have to figure out the way to defeat the supervillain with the lame power.
Okay. And we just have normal human abilities, or we are another superhero?
They're giving you the lame power.
Maybe you
give me an example. Give me the nail clipper example.
You're fighting Dr. Doom, but your superpower is you glow in the dark.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So, but because I said it, we can't use that one now.
All right. Should we do a little huddle thing? Me and Eric can go over here, and we'll whisper to each other, and Wade, the camera guy, can come over and get our little huddle, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Deal? All right.
Who wants to go first? Do you want to be up first? Do you want to be up first?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So come over here.
Right,
come over here.
Come on.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right, Wade, get up in here. We're going to get our secret little thing. All right. So what we need. So what superhero is he going to go against?
Superhero or supervillain?
Supervillain.
I can still totally hear you.
Oh, they can? Oh, no. Well, you're going to know in a second anyway. Shut up. Act like it. This is improv.
I know nothing.
No cameras, please.
No, get out of here.
Just kidding.
Okay, so let's have him go up against Brainiac.
You want to go Brainiac? So one of my favorite, I feel like VR related supervillains is Mysterio from Spider-Man. His ability is to basically cast and project like totally believable holograms everywhere.
Okay. Oh yeah. I think
that. That's kind of cool because it's Mysterio. Like in theme.
Mysterio, and then what is his crappy superpower?
The ability to exude massive quantities of mucus from the soles of his feet, like a episode.
So perfect. All right. So why don't you jump right in the center there, and you'll be first up.
All right. Step right up, my friend. So the supervillain you will be going up against is Mysterio. You know Mysterio, obviously.
Yes.
So
for anybody that doesn't know, Mysterio is a Spider-Man bad guy with a snow globe for a head, and his power is that he can like make extremely believable holograms everywhere.
And your crappy superhero that you must defeat Mysterio with is
you can exude mucus from the soles of your feet like a slug.
Sweet. And it's really not different from reality, but okay.
Okay, cool. Let's do this. Take a step up right here and do your thing. Defeat that Mysterio.
You have 30 seconds to work it out.
Am I talking about this? Or am I...
Yeah.
Give us your thought process.
To the camera.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, to the camera. There he is. So, Mysterio, I'm going to karate jump up and slap him in the fishbowl with my slug feet and slime his face so that he can't see what he's trying to hologram. Is that what you guys are talking about?
Hey, it works. I like it.
It works.
Hey,
it's good enough.
Bang our 5 controllers together. Yay!
Okay. I can't make a real clapping
All right,
noise.
Eric, I think you're up next.
All right.
Okay. So
have you guys figured your guys out yet?
Here, I'll go out there so I can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go over here.
Okay.
I want to be
superpower and villain.
Where'd you go?
Let's see.
Where'd Eric go? Oh, there you are. Hi, Eric.
You can replicate soup from anywhere, but it's only like single can amounts.
Single serving replicants of
yeah. So you can
any kind of soup.
So you can shoot like a laser, and it forms a single can of soup.
That would make more sense.
Warm. It's not cold.
It's not hot.
It's not hot. It's just like unpleasantly warm.
I'm just gonna go like this so I can't hear.
But then they can't hear themselves.
Oh yeah. I'll do it more quiet.
We're really making it hard for them.
Let's do a DC villain.
Or I can take my headphones out.
Oh, there we go.
Jester?
La 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 la.
The Jester?
The Jester. I was thinking like Poison Ivy.
Okay. Poison Ivy's good.
Poison Ivy?
Ooh, you get leaves
defeat Poison Ivy with soup.
All right. Yep, that's what you got to do. All right, cool.
No, I think they're talking about Poison Ivy.
All right. Okay. So, your supervillain that you have to defeat is Poison Ivy.
I've heard of her.
And your superpower is you emit a laser from your hand that makes a single serving of lukewarm soup.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. That's a really, really interesting superpower. Okay, so let me think about this.
It's like unpleasantly warm. Like it's not cold to be refreshing, and it's not hot enough to be like an actual meal.
All right, so let's think about this. Who subsists on soup? I'm going to say college students. So what this really is to me is it is a laser beam that calls forth college students. So the question is, how can I use broke college students to defeat poison ivy? I think maybe if I go to some sort of university that specializes in biology, I could call forth many hundreds of first-year biology students and have them just like annoy the absolute crap out of poison ivy, asking her all kinds of questions. And then I would just sort of like slap the cuffs on her.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
That's one way to do it. I mean,
all right.
Yeah.
I guess there are no wrong answers.
I like it, dude.
I mean, what else am I going to do with soup? Like, I can only make one single serving at a time. It's not like I
They're
can
all
make it
asking,
porridge.
It's not like
Where's
you
the
can burn
ramen?
it with it either. It's too cold.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like you could have got like a pool and like very slowly filled it up and then just pushed her in it
I
And
was
drown
thinking
them.
I like materialize it in a bowl and everything. Like, it's just like
Bowl soup.
Or you can make
maybe.
a trail of soup servings that kind of leads to a
bowl of soup,
cliff or something.
bowl of soup. Ooh, bowl of soup. And then like she goes into like one of those boxes with a stick, like
Right, like Bugs Bunny or Daffy
exactly.
Duck or Elmer Fudd.
Oh. Okay, you guys are
Or James Woods.
all right. Up next.
All right, we got about 5 minutes left. Do you want to do 2 more of these, or do you want to take our questions from the audience?
Let's do 2 more of these, and it's okay if we run over.
All right, cool, perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. Let's. We realized that we could talk out here.
If we go out there, we can talk and you guys can't hear us. So we're gonna
That is
go.
true.
We're gonna go in the audience and discuss.
Follow us, Wade. Follow us. All right,
Tony Stark, where'd
Wade,
you
can
go?
hear us?
I'm just wandering around,
Eugene,
getting
I
lost.
think he's
Eugene,
got-
can
okay.
you hear us?
They can't hear us.
We could go take a
All right.
suggestion from the audience.
Oh
So
yeah,
you're up this time, right?
I
Just-
am up this time.
suggestions. Hey, audience member, you are.
This is great. This is like total nerd games. I love these.
Oh yeah. It's perfect.
This is speaking of college students, the kind of thing you do with
I think he's
cheap
really
beer
into the show.
or
That's what it
perhaps
looks like.
very wine
He's super into
and
the show.
a college dorm room.
Come on, Rob Awesome.
Oh, absolutely. This could definitely be like a game
It's like a beer pong and
For
Super
or
Bowl, yeah.
a Cards Against Humanity
which
sort of
lane
game.
What's a lame power that you like?
Hey, no getting help from the audience now.
Hey, you mind your own business.
It's okay.
Rob Awesome,
Tony's
you're
a
only
genius.
lane power. Lane power.
Don't float me
Um,
answers.
We're
What
kind
if
of
they-
put you on the spot.
What
so
if they
you don't
have an
anything, it's okay,
impenetrable
too.
bandana that they can kind of
Either hi there, ho there.
Doctor
Welcome to
Strange-
Glitched.
Oh, that was really
So
good.
they
I
can
like that.
actually still hear
All
us.
right, let's do it.
Yeah, I kind of hear that.
He's got an impenetrable bandana
Distance.
that he can put
No,
over his
so
entire body,
we
kind
actually
of like
have a
Doctor Strange's
radius
cape.
set up,
It's
so
animated like the
whatever we
cube.
say in there
It's
sounds
animated. And
perfectly normal,
what
like we're
villain?
next to them out there.
Who
Ah, I
would be
did
a
not know
sucky
that.
person to fight
Yeah.
with that? Maybe
It's
someone
a
who's made of
it's a little
fire
audio
that
zone.
could burn the bandana
Gotcha.
easily.
Auto zone.
What about that?
Well, that's way
what's
so
kid
the audience
from,
can hear us.
the new
Gotcha.
Deadpool movie.
And we always have
Fire
perfect sound.
Hands,
Fire fists or something?
Fire Fist. Yeah, there we go. We'll do Fire Fist.
Also haven't seen it. baby.
Oh, Eric. All right, we got this.
Yeah.
All right, so if you want to step up here, we will present to you your challenge as if you choose to take it. You will be fighting Fire Fists from Deadpool 2,
Okay.
and your lame superpower is inspired by Rob Awesome and his awesome bandana over there.
Wait, what's
You have-
Fire Fist's power?
He generates large kinetic hot.
He's basically Pyro
plasma.
from.
I was being sarcastic. It's in his name.
Okay, I was gonna say, Eugene.
Yeah.
It's okay, Eugene.
But
It's okay.
this is the science of it.
Anyways, and then your
All the way up to the elbow.
your superpower is inspired by Rob Awesome's bandana around his neck. You have a giant bandana akin to Doctor Strange's cape. That
So
is
it's animate. It's animate and like sort of can extend itself a little bit.
but it's just a regular bandana material.
Yeah.
It's not indestructible. Go.
I send it to fly and cover his face, and then so I stand in front of him and I say sneak around, and the bandana jumps over his face and just starts flap rapidly like Doctor Strange's cape would, And when he finally like jumps out of the way, I punch him straight in the face, knocking him out.
Like a guy backstage at your show.
How about a shot in the jimmies?
There you go.
Perfect.
See, I think you could
I just
go
kicked him in the
better,
nuts, guys.
right? If it was flapping on his face and he has fire fists, maybe he would like burn his own face off for you.
Well, if he tried that, he would burn his own face off.
Right,
So
exactly.
he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, he's probably pretty good at not burning his own face off.
He thought this through a lot better than we did, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, you guys, give me your best shot.
All right, you want to go gather it off stage,
This is the last
Eugene?
one. This is the last
Eugene,
one.
Eugene, let's go where he can't hear us.
Yeah, why don't you guys go talk to the yeah, you guys all do it. I'll just wait here. I'll just hang out. I won't listen. I'll put my fingers in my ears. Go on. La 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 la.
Okay.
What?
I'm here.
Enjoying the show?
Why are you here?
Oh, I'm supposed to be up there.
You're on his
board.
team.
We're on a
Hey,
team.
Rob
I forgot
Awesome.
We're a
You're on
team.
his team.
How
Yes.
exactly are we on a team? We
think-
seem to
I
be
think he's
doing this
spy
as
versus spy.
individuals.
I don't know. We are just kind of we're kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure.
Okay. So,
And I love your man bun in your avatar. It's just like so
so
sculpted and elegant.
superpower
Did
and
you know
bad
that I
guy.
cut it?
No, it's gone.
Yeah, I cut it off about
You're really
3 months ago.
You know, it's
Okay,
funny
okay,
because when I was on the show the first time,
how about
we talked about this.
Galactus?
We talked about
Yes.
how our avatars are going to be frozen in time, but we're going to continue
Galactus
to change. And like it's definitely happening, right? Like before the show, we were talking about. For me, this watch that's in my avatar, I don't have
he
anymore.
can make
'cause
his
it's
head,
busted.
and you can
Yeah.
only make your head
That's
really
not nearly
my
as
wedding
bad as
ring,
you
yeah.
losing your wedding ring. Which
I
is,
Like,
know.
like,
Oh
It
my
can
god.
inflate your. It can inflate your.
yeah,
But,
you
no,
can
No,
inflate your
I'm
head
planning the beard
to
will be
the
going
size
too.
of a
I'm not sure when.
VW bug.
But
I actually have an afro. I grew it in since you
Is it
saw me at
solid
that
or
party.
is it
it's been a while.
No,
Yeah,
it's
like a
it's
big
like
balloon.
huge.
But
It's like
I'm actually I'm gonna shave the beard, but I'm gonna do a
wait.
24-hour in VR charity stream.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
Inflatable
so, all
head.
right.
And so
Lame
I'm gonna
superpower.
figure out all that and stuff. And if I can raise
Okay,
the
are we
money,
good?
I'll shave the beard.
Galactus
Are you going to do that here on the show?
All right.
But I don't know how we're gonna do it. I just kind of want to shave the
Hey,
beard, and I want a
guys.
good reason to do it. Oh, Eugene, where'd you come from? I didn't see you there, buddy.
Teleporting. I got my own VR powers.
Nice.
Okay,
All right,
so-
lay it on me.
Your supervillain is Galactus,
Ooh,
the World
Okay.
Destroyer. And your superpower is you can inflate your head to the size of a VW bug.
of a VW bug.
Specifically,
Yeah.
wait, the new kind or the original?
Original.
Well, just
All right.
roughly, you know.
Okay, so and I'm going against Galactus. What is Galactus's actual powers? He just consumes worlds.
Well, he
he-
possesses the power galactic.
Or no, he
Which is very specific.
has the
thank you.
power of Cosmo. The cosmic.
Cosmic, the power cosmic, right.
That's right.
Okay,
All right.
So-
So,
That-
which means
that
he can
narrows it
also
down.
like get heralds who have similar powers of, cosmic.
I mean,
so I
think
can
about it like this.
inflate my head to the size of a VW bug.
Yep.
And you have to fight a dude who eats planets and has the ability to just at will generate superpowered individuals that are capable of also destroying planets and traveling through space naked.
Could you have picked a harder combination for me?
Hey, I mean, Squirrel Girl
I-
beat Galactus, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, that's
Let's
If
true.
there's
see
a
here.
will, there's a way.
All right. My name is VW Bug Headman. So what I would do, I see Galactus
Bold.
coming in to come and consume Earth. I promptly inflate my head to the size of a VW bug. I then Jesus Christ. I then get on both knees, put my head between my and just kiss my ass goodbye. That's what I'm gonna do. I really can't do anything. I don't got nothing, I don't think.
I
wait, let me can I take a shot at this?
Sure.
Okay.
Break it out, bro.
I am
So
not
maybe
inventive enough.
maybe what you could do is you could inflate your head to the size of VW Bug and trick Galactus into thinking it's just a very small planet and have him eat that.
Hey, there you go.
Although the real deal is the way that everybody gets out of having Galactus eat their planet is they volunteer themselves as being a herald. So you could just
Yes.
become VW Head
Just
Bug
surrender.
Man.
I'm VW Headman.
I just
flying-
see you
flying
like
through the space, still
blowing
VW
up your
Bug
head
Man.
like a balloon and shooting off like the Silver Surfer.
Well, now, isn't Galactus really huge?
He's enormous.
So could you just like throw yourself into his nostril or something and maybe give him
just
an
lodge
aneurysm?
myself into his thing so he
just
can't
inflate
sneeze
your
properly.
head and just become an aneurysm.
I mean, if we work the numbers on that, I don't think it adds up.
Oh,
I have one. What I would do is I'm going to go off of what you were saying, but what I would do is I would go in and I would go inside of Galactus, but I would also bring Ant-Man with me.
Oh,
then I would
no. That was one of the rules.
You stop it, Eugene. This is the best I got.
You could not. No.
I got a thing. Me and Ant-Man are homies. It's fine. So I got him riding in the passenger seat of my VW Bug, my head. He's in between my ears. We fly up into Galactus inside of his stomach or inside of his lungs or something. But then Ant-Man's going to use the enlarger with me, and then he will scale me up so high and so large that I would explode Galactus.
So
it's not bad.
So, but when you hit 58 feet, you break apart.
Okay, and so this is what I was saying about the numbers. Galactus can consume an Earth-sized planet in about 4 bites. So that means his mouth is about a quarter the size of the Earth, which means his nose is like the size of the United States.
See,
which is why we need to hit the extreme button.
No. So what
Find
you would do,
or
is climb inside of him, get all the way up to his brain, and then start using your inflated head like a hammer.
There you go.
And taking out brain cells.
See, this is why I'm not a part of the Avengers. This is why I don't do superhero crime fighting. I am just not quick on my feet.
So in the comic where Squirrel Girl fights Galactus, she realizes something really interesting about him. She wonders why Galactus keeps coming back to Earth when Earth keeps figuring out a way to prevent him from eating the planet. And she realizes that the reason why Galactus keeps coming back to Earth is because Earth is a planet just absolutely friggin' covered in superheroes. There's no way he's going to get a chance to eat Earth. Earth will always find some other planet for him to go and eat. And Squirrel Girl's like, oh, that's why you come here. Coming and pretending like you want to eat Earth is the Galactus equivalent of like going out for takeout. Because we find new food for you that is guilt-free. Because Galactus, he needs the heralds to go and find him planets.
It's kind of like Uber Eats then.
Yeah, exactly.
On a galactic scale.
Coming to Earth and being like, I'm going to eat you is Galactus equivalent of Uber Eats. Exactly.
I really want Uber Eats to do a tie-in now with Marvel, and that's just their ad.
It's going to be one of their new superheroes is the Uber Eats driver who defeats Galactus.
And Miguel.
By just delivering other planets to him.
Right on, man. Well, we are at about 8:10 right now. We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
Do we have any comments? Our audience kind of dwindled over the episode. Any comments? Anybody else want to ask a question?
No, I think we're good, man.
Okay. So, Eric, where can the people find you?
Oh, everybody, you can find me on Twitter at Eric, ERIC _ Newman, NEUMAN. You can also find my app, Strudel Doodle, at strudeldoodle.com or on the iTunes App Store. Yeah, that's pretty much the best ways.
Jason, our guest of honor, come on up. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find the group.
You can always find the group on Facebook at facebook.com/costume characters for causes. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at CBC4C. That was our original name, Costume or Comic Book Characters for Causes, so CBC4C. Me personally, I have an Instagram that is at Stark_PNW, so you can follow me there and say hi. And Twitter, I think I'm at unofficial voice, all one word.
Okay,
nice.
Topher, Twitter and Instagram, go.
Twitter is toe_for. Instagram is the same thing, but with 2 underscores. toe__for. I want to plug my Twitch too. Twitch, look for VR Nation on Twitch.
Okay, I'm just gonna do Twitter, Cap on Design. You can find me there, and we're always streaming these shows on Cap on Design TV. Thank you so much to our sponsor, High Fidelity. And
thanks, High
Jason, And Jason, with you here, we wanted to say Topher and I own a animation XR company, but one of the things we do are social media consulting. So what we'd like to do is to sit down with you, and this will be completely on us, and we would like to help put together a social media package for you and make your charity one of our official associates.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, we would love to sponsor you guys.
That'd be great. One of our biggest things is awareness, and social media is the way to do it. So
yes,
absolutely. High five.
Yeah. Oh, here. Bam, bam, bam. Secret handshake.
Okay. All right. So with that, thank you so much for joining us, guys. You too, Eric.
Thanks, man.
And we will see you guys next week on YouTube and High Fidelity. Go to Steam, download it, come join us inside of the show, and we'll be back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much. Stay glitched.
See you guys. Stay
glitched. Can you use your Chuck E. Cheese voice one more time and like take us out saying something cool?
Yeah, you should take us out with it.
Either hi there, ho there, folks. We'll see you next time on Glitched.
That was great.
Right. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Now we exit. We see ya.
Same bat time. Same bat
channel.
Yeah, good show, guys.
On the show.